Hey ambassadors, are you guys ready to learn new things and lessons? The House of Dogmaliel from 11 Ezra are here to provide you some new knowledge. So what are you waiting for? Let's go! In this video, we're gonna talk about random variable and probability distribution. But first, what is random variable and probability distribution?
A probability distribution or probability mass function is mapping or list of all values of random variable to their corresponding probabilities for a given sample space. There are two types of probability distribution. Discrete probability distribution is a list of all values for discrete random variable, and probability density function is a list of all values for continuous random variable. A random variable is a function that assigns a number to each outcome of an experiment. It is also called chance variable. There are two types of random variable. Discrete random variable, which is a random variable that can take on an infinite number of distinct values, and continuous random variable, which is a random variable that can take an infinite uncountable number of possible values.
Talk about the steps on how to solve this discrete random variable. Step 1 is we have to list all the sample space of a random variable experiment. Step 2, count the number of the values of your random variable. Step 3, construct frequency distribution of the values of the random variable. Step 4, construct a probability histogram. And last but not the least, construct the probability distribution of the random variable by getting the probability of occurrence of each. Our problem for today is the number of getting heads when the coin is flipped 4 times. So let's proceed to step number 1. When we flip the coin once, we are going to have the probability of getting heads and getting tails. Heads and tails. And when we flip the coin, for another time, we are going to have heads, tails, and heads and tails. And then next, we are going to have once again heads and tails, heads and tails, heads and tails, and then heads and then tails. Next one is 1, 2, 3. We have already flipped the coin 3 times, so we are going to flip it for the last time. Head, tails, head, tails, head, tails, head, tails, head, tails. So let me get back to you when I finish this and already finished listing all the sample space. Here is our step 1, and when we list our sample space, it'll be looking like this. Okay. So here our sample space is H, which means heads, 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 tails, heads, and so on and so forth. Now let us proceed to step 2. So guys, as you can see here in our step 2, I already listed all of the outcomes that we got here from our sample space from this step 1. So here in our step 2, we are going to count the values of heads into our outcome. So for example, is here in our first one, we have 4 heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, so we are going to list 4. Next is we have heads, 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 tails, so we are going to write 3 because there are 3 heads. For the next one is H, heads, heads, tails, heads, heads, so we can have 3 tails. And that's what we are going to do to all of this. So I'm going to get back to you, and I am also going to have the total all of these values of heads. So here is the values of heads. I already listed them all and also got the total. I got the total of 32 of heads in our sample space. So let's now proceed to step 3. We are now going to construct the frequency of this random variable. So as you can see, there are the list of the values of each from here, from 0 to 4. We are just going to count the number of occurrence of the heads. So we are just going to count how many zeros did we get from the values of each. We only have, when we find 0, we only have 1 0. Then we are going to find how many ones are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to write 4. And the next is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 2, 6. And then now we are going to know how many 3s are there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 3s. And then how many 4s are there? There are only 1. So that is our step 3. So now here in our step 4, as you can see, I already have the table and also got the total of the number of occurrence, which is 16. So here we are going to have the frequency of the probability of getting heads. So we are just going to divide the number of occurrence in our total. So 1 divided by 16 is 1 over 16. 4 divided by 16 is 1/4. 6 divided by 16 is 3/8. 4 divided by 16 is 1/4. And 1 divided by 16 is 1 over 16. If we total all of this, it will be equal to 1. So that is how we get to step 4 of this problem. So now let's proceed to our step 5.
I'm going to show you the step 5, which is the histogram. This is the histogram that I've already made. Take a closer look. If you're done looking, here are my 3 questions. The first one is, what is the probability of getting exactly 2 heads? The second one is the probability of getting 0 head has the same probability of getting 4 heads? Third question is the probability of getting 1 head is exactly the same as getting the probability of 3 heads? Now think. Okay, now let's check. For our question number 1, if you answer 3 over 8, then you're right, since the probability of getting 2 head is exactly 3 over 8. For our question number 2, yes, they are both 1/4 because the probability of getting 1 and 3 heads is 1 over 4. And lastly, the probability of getting exactly 0 head and 4 head is 1 over 16.
Again, the random variable is a variable whose values is unknown or a function that assigns values to each of an experiment's outcome. The 2 types of random variables are discrete, continuous, and mixed random variables. The probability distribution is a statistical function that describes all the possible values and likelihood that a random variables can take within the given range.
Random variables are like unpredictable lottery numbers, and probability distribution are the odd of each number winning. The higher the pick, the luckier that number is.